Hey everyone! In this video, I'll be comparing the Hyperlite 2 against the FT6 Pro. We see some great new upgrades in the Hyperlite 2, including the tongue, liner, tendon guard, outsole, and the holder. In the FT6 Pro, pretty much everything is new. That includes the tendon guard, tongue, liner, insole, toe cap, shape of the boot, and comfort edge pads. Although CCM did not release a new holder this year, they did upgrade the dial on the holder. It's bigger and easier to grip. The Vapor toe cap remains the same and has less negative space. The FT6 Pro has a new low-profile toe cap, but it still has more negative space than the Vapor. Here you can see the difference between the FT6 Pro and the FT4 Pro toe cap. Both insoles have a grippy texture in the heel and holes for ventilation. The Hyperlite 2 has a pretty standard insole, whereas the FT6 Pro has a layer of memory foam on the top layer. Due to the materials used and how they transfer energy, I definitely feel more connected to the ice in the FT6 Pro than in the Hyperlite 2. The FT6 Pro feels neutral compared to the slight but noticeable forward pitch of the Hyperlite 2. If you look closely here, you'll see the rear section of the Powerfly holder is taller than the XS holder. Both the Hyperlite 2 and the FT6 Pro got upgraded tendon guards. It's easier to flex the tendon guard on the FT6 Pro, and it flexes slightly more than the Hyperlite 2. I got a good knee bend in the Hyperlite 2, but at times I felt like I got a deeper knee bend in the FT6 Pro. Taking a look at these two front T-stops, I get a better knee bend in the FT6 Pro. Let's take a closer look at both skates. The graphics on the Hyperlite 2 look super clean. I really like the ombre effect it has, where it kind of blends in with the ice. Bauer doesn't currently have a stiffness rating for their boots, but this Hyperlite 2 is quite stiff. The top of the line Vapor skate seems to be moving away from the color red. We only see it on the tongue and on the back below the tendon guard. I'm glad to see that Bauer fixed some of the issues from the original Hyperlite skate. One being the durability of the material used to line the boot and the back of the tongue. Although that material was soft, light, and quick drying, it was thin and could be torn easily. The material used for the liner and back of the tongue in the Hyperlite 2 feels more premium and durable. It's nice that the top of the tongue was reinforced with rubber to prevent any kind of snagging from Velcro or whatever. Also, the padding was increased and the skate feels beefed up, but in a good way, making it more protective. I'd feel more comfortable blocking a shot in the Hyperlite 2 than in the original Hyperlite. The Hyperflex outsole seen on the Hyperlite and Hyperlite 2 is not a gimmick. It really flexes with you. This outsole isn't for everyone though. Some people still prefer a full carbon fiber outsole. The Powerfly holder feels great and responsive, especially in turns, but I'm not happy with the quality of Fly T steel. It has a nice finish, but it doesn't hold its edge as long as step steel. The FT6 Pro is a really good looking skate, and I think it even looks better than the FT4 Pro. The subtle blue accents on the exterior are a nice touch. The FT6 Pro has a stiffness rating of 195. It's slightly stiffer than the Hyperlite 2. The tongue is very comfortable and protective. It is soft and plush on the top, there is felt on the two sides, and it doesn't move to the side while skating. I'm not worried about lace bite in the long run. The liner and ankle padding in the FT6 Pro are softer than what's in the Hyperlite 2 and the FT4 Pro. I put speed plates in all my skates because that's just the most comfortable insole for me. Before I bought the FT6 Pro, I thought I wouldn't like the skate because of the holder, but I was totally wrong. I really enjoy using the excess holder with the step black steel. I'm very happy with the quality and finish of step black steel, and I prefer it over fly T steel because the black steel looks better and holds an edge much longer. The only thing I don't like about the FT6 Pro is that they are super heavy and bulky. The Hyperlite 2 is way lighter than the FT6 Pro. I really enjoyed reviewing these skates. Here are 10 categories that I've rated them in. The Hyperlite 2 and FT6 Pro are both stiff, but the FT6 Pro feels slightly stiffer. It didn't score a 5 because the AS5 Pro exists, and the FT6 Pro is not as stiff as the AS5 Pro. Both skates are very comfortable, but the FT6 Pro is more comfortable than the Hyperlite 2. Both skates achieved the same score in the next 3 categories. Whether I was in the vapor or jet speed, my heel felt locked in really well. Neither skate felt like it lacked padding. The Hyperlite 2 felt like it had enough, and the FT6 Pro felt like it had slightly more than enough, but it had a softer kind of padding than the Hyperlite 2. And of course, both graphic designs look great. The Hyperlite 2 received a 4 because it's lightweight, it's definitely lighter than the FT6 Pro and other top-of-the-line skates, but it's not the lightest skate out there. The FT6 Pro scored a 2.5 because it's pretty heavy, bulky, and it feels like a speed tank. Each skate will weigh differently, but 60 grams more or less is a very noticeable difference in weight. Although CCM added some extra weight to the FT6 Pro, the comfort and protection definitely makes up for it. Like I said before, the Hyperlite 2 feels beefed up and more protective than the Hyperlite, but it doesn't feel as protective as the FT6 Pro. In the Hyperlite 2, the Hyperflex facing gives a better wrap than what we've seen in skates before the Hyperlite, but it doesn't wrap as well as a traditional eyelet facing. The FT6 Pro having a traditional eyelet facing, it definitely wrapped better around my ankle. As for steel quality, respectfully, step steel over any steel from Bauer. The insole from the Hyperlite 2 is similar to what we've seen in skates from the last few years. It's pretty basic and there's nothing special about it. The FT6 Pro's insole scored higher because of the memory foam. It really cushions the foot and it feels great.